Operation Stitches, a children's relief organization, started in 1993 by Zonelle Thompson. The Stitches program is to help churches and ministries take the message of Jesus outside the four walls of the church to their backyard mission fields. The Daily Stitches program consists of an 18-foot pink trailer covered with dinosaurs that rolls into the projects where children are taught to respect and honor God's love through Operation Stitches curriculum.
I just prayed and cried out to God, and I said, God, whatever you want me to do, I'm just willing to do it. And it was just like he said, I want you to take it to the streets. And I'm going, take what to the streets? You know, oh, Dwight's going to go preach on a corner downtown. You know, great, I'll go be with him, whatever you want, you know. So now I want you to take it to the streets, to the children. And I just started crying. I didn't even know what it meant, but I just knew that something was being birthed.
I want them to come more into my community. They just need to not be in drugs, to not get in gangs.
Grow to be who we want to be and grow to be somebody. Make us feel like we're special.
Stitches is a very special program, and all I want to say is thank you for Stitches.
If it's bandaging the broken or washing filthy feet, here I am, Lord, send me. If I'm poor, if I'm wealthy, I'll serve you just the same. Here I am, Lord, send me. When I'm standing in your glory, I'll be glad I chose to say, here I am, Lord, send me.
Well, it's been 30 years since we had the privilege of partnering with the Trinity for that project, Hope for LA and Operation Stitches, and I never tire of talking about it, of seeing it, and just being absolutely amazed that God would use me. At that time, I was 23 and I was just in love with Jesus, didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I wanted to share the gospel and love on children. And I met this spectacular, larger-than-life prayer warrior, intercessor, bold as a lion, but sugary sweet woman of God. And she got a vision to do something about a problem. There had been riots in Los Angeles, and there was unrest. There was division, there was hate, there was violence, there was gang activity, and she said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? Not in my town, not on my watch. And Jesus trusted her and gave her a vision. And you know what? God trusts you too. But she was smart enough to know she couldn't do it alone. And so she recruited 2 other crazy people that had childlike faith, and we went out, and God in his mercy and grace just used us. And that number grew and grew and grew. He added unto us daily. And in the period of 13 weeks, 50,000 souls gave their hearts to Jesus Christ. Children, teenagers, gang members, adults. It was supernatural.
Yes, it was.
Supernatural. And so I want to introduce you to this legend, this pioneer, one of God's favored and favorite servants. She has been a spiritual mother to so many, and I'm pinching myself that I get to have her on this Come Home on the Road show. And by the way, thank you so much, Paul and Yvette, and to the whole crew in Fort Myers for letting me steal her and interview her here. And so now I love you. I love you so much.
I love you so much.
You've been a warrior. You're an example. You are so, God's amazing. And here we are.
Yes,
Can you
yes.
believe this?
No,
Celebrating 30 years later.
Yeah, 30 years later. It is amazing.
So when you watch that video, what do you think? What do you feel?
Oh, well, I can't tell you. It's just the excitement is still there. And there's more to do, you know, than ever before, especially in America right now, in the inner cities, all over.
Yeah.
We've got to tell them on the streets, wherever we are, we've just got to tell them about Jesus.
Yeah.
Because most of them only know the name God by cussing.
That's right.
And that grieves me.
Yeah.
Just grieves me.
Yeah. Well, you and Dwight made a decision not to just make it 13 weeks, but you said we have to get these rolling sanctuaries, these mobile trailers out into the highways and byways, and you began to train, and you invested, and you got partners, and you've kept it alive.
Well, it was a God thing, you know. It wasn't really anything that we did. It's just being available at the next day. Just wasn't any kind of a plan. It was just all a God thing, as everybody says.
Yeah. Well, we would get up every day and say, "Where do you want us to go today?"
That's right.
And you were the wild woman on all those streets in Los Angeles and those highways, and I'd never been to any place like that.
I know.
Going down the 5 and the this and the that.
Yeah.
And we would just show up at these churches, these huge churches in the greater LA area. And you would tell the receptionist, like Dr. Evie Hill, we're here to see him. They'd say, do you have an appointment? You'd say, no, but I'm just waiting here.
Well, our office was on the phone calling the different places, you know. So when we got there, we were ready to go.
Isn't it funny, the different pastors that they thought, oh, aren't they so cute? They're not going to be able to pull this off.
Oh, yeah, don't you know it?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't pull it off.
We didn't.
It was a God thing.
Yeah.
So how did we get involved together?
Well, you were at a Rodney Howard-Browne meeting, and it is just when, you know, he had first come to America and was having these great outpourings. I think you were in Louisville or St. Louis.
I think so.
And you were on the floor and for a long time, and God gave you the vision to reach the children. And you said you couldn't quit weeping, that you just wept and wept and wept and wept and wept, and he just impregnated you with that burden for souls and for those little hearts.
For the children.
Yeah. And you said before you got off the floor that unless you've got to help me, I'll do it, but you've got to help me. And then that night you talked to someone, she was part of the team, and then she called me. I was at a wedding that night and said, I'm here with Zonelle, and God just gave her a vision, and we're going to do this. And I had been doing outreach in Tampa. And so she said, you've got to come. And I said, well, okay. And that was Saturday night, and I was on a plane Monday morning. And you got us you came to the airport, and then God just began to connect the dots and put together the puzzle.
Thank you for being there and being available.
Well, thank you for your yes.
We didn't even know what was going on. I mean, God was just flooding it into our spirits.
Yeah.
And it's hard to talk about it sometimes.
I know.